Hello and welcome back to What Steven Reads. My name is Steven. For today's video, I'm just going to recap what I read this summer. Obviously, you guys don't know anything I've read for the past few years because I wasn't on BookTube, but I figure I'll start with the summer since I am new here. And fall has officially begun. So summer just ended. So yes, there are books that I read in September. All right, so here we go. The first book back in, I think, end of May or June was The Bump by Sydney Carger. And it's basically about two guys, Wyatt and Biz. They decided to have a baby after being together for so many years. And now that the baby is arriving through a surrogate, they're having issues. They're bickering all the time, they're not getting along, and they're hoping that this road trip to California from New York will solve their problems. They can iron some issues out with each other, and it's a cute story. There is a story within the overall story of them fighting that I think could have been the whole entire book, involving an estranged father of one of the characters, and it just touched upon that a little bit, and it could have gone a little bit further, and I think it would have been a great story for this. But yeah, if you got some time, it's a good, quick, week time read. If you got a long list of books you do want to read, you could probably skip this one, but it was okay. Then next up was I Cheerfully Refuse by Leif Enger. I think it's pronounced Leif, unless it's Leaf, I don't know. So basically, it's set in a not too distant dystopian world, almost post-apocalyptic. A man sets off on a journey to find his wife who has recently departed. I know, it sounds confusing, but it's a nice story though. The world has a very wild west vibe. I don't know what happened. They never explain what happened to the world, but things are just off. Some people in some towns are very hostile. Some people are very nice. Literacy has gone down. Some people don't even know how to read at all. It's a very strange world. It's set between Canada and United States, where the Great Rivers are. The Great Lakes, rather. Sorry. But yeah, the characters are interesting. The relationship between the main character and a character that's introduced, a young girl, is very endearing. And I definitely recommend I Cheerfully Refuse. So I finally got around to reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I definitely want to read some more books from her. It's just that this storyline interested me about an actress in the 50s, and she decides to tell a writer about her life story and all the husbands that she's been married to. I found it really interesting. There's an interesting twist at the end I think you'll enjoy. Highly recommend this if you haven't already read it. I know it's been hugely popular. Next up, a little bit of science fiction, The Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham. And basically, the inspiration for 28 Days Later, I'd mentioned that before when we talked about this book. Plants can walk in this world. It's not said if they're sentient or not, but they could walk around and they can attack you. And I guess that's where the inspiration for 28 Days Later comes from, where basically there's one night where some cosmic thing happens in the sky, and if you were watching it, you basically went blind. So that's where the craziness and the pandemonium starts the next day after, where nobody can see anything, they can't get around, they can't find food. And it follows that whole storyline of people trying to survive. And the main character, he can see because he was in the hospital the day of this whole event that took place. So he never got to see anything that happened in the sky, fortunately. I found it a little too slow paced for me. You know, hearing that it was the inspiration for 28 Days Later, I expected a little bit more, but I get the value in the book and what it provided for future writers to take this trope of an apocalyptic kind of aftermath. Totally get it. It just wasn't for me. Then next up was Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. And I enjoyed it, but I wasn't blown away by it. Basically, I'm not reading the back of the books. I have little notes I have, because as soon as I go on camera, I forget everything I wanted to say. A recovering alcoholic drug user who never met his mother and father is now gone, travels to New York City to meet a living art exhibit. A woman dying grants people conversations. He's obsessed with the concept of martyrism. I thought it was interesting. I would have liked to have seen the relationships a little bit more developed, the interaction between them. Maybe some more interaction between the father and the son. Maybe more interaction between the main character and his BFF. I just did not see a lot of that. And I did appreciate the interaction between him and this woman that's on this exhibit in New York City. But for me, it wasn't enough. And it could have been more. But it was his debut novel, and it has received a lot of acclaim. And I believe he was nominated for the National Book Award. So there you go, it just wasn't for me. Then we had the wacky book, Sky Daddy by Kate Folk, which I said, yeah, definitely go out and read this or borrow it from the library or whatever. A romance novel like no other. A woman is in love with an airplane. And that's all I really have to say. You can check my other videos out if you want to see all about Sky Daddy. Then I read The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. And basically, the moon god, imprisoned by the emperor, escapes and exacts her revenge and attempts to save the land from his tyranny. She's aided by two warriors and embark on a journey. I thought it was a nice fantasy. I needed something fantasy to read, not so serious. I thought it was well written, very poetic. The writer sets it up as the main character, not the moon goddess, one of the warrior characters. A descendant is in a theater telling this whole entire story, and it was very beautifully written. I can't describe it anything else other than very poetic. It was just a very beautifully told story, how you would imagine stories were told back in the day from, elder to a younger person in the family sitting by a fire. So I thought that was a nice way of telling a story and writing the book. Then we have the coming-of-age story, The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Basically, coming-of-age story from the 90s about a high school boy adjusting after the suicide of his best friend. Makes new friends and discovers who he is. It's depressing at times, it's concerning at times because you're not sure what's going on with him. I thought it was very touching, and for people who may have gone through similar stuff as him of losing someone, I never personally lost anyone close to me at that age, especially someone the same age as me. I can't imagine what that's like, and definitely Stephen Chbosky told it very well. Then there was The Sundown Motel, and that was written by Simone St. James. And it's a woman in 1981 disappears from an upstate motel. She works there. And present day, her niece, who never even got to meet her because she disappeared way before she was born, goes there to figure out what happened to her missing aunt. It was very chilling. Definitely creeped me out a little bit at times. It's a cool ghost story thriller and murder mystery. Very cool. Then pretty much most recently, Anywhere With You by Ellie Palmer. And it was a cute Netflix vibey romance. That's how I feel about it. A woman divorced after only a year travels to her sister's wedding in a van with her hot BFF that she hasn't seen since before she got married because they had a little bit of a rift, and everything comes out. They talk about it. It's about finding love. It's about letting love go. It's about trying not to be afraid to let someone into your life out of fear that it may not last. And I just thought it was really beautiful. And lastly, In Our Time by Ernest Hemingway. And if you saw my other video, you know I didn't enjoy it. I just did not enjoy his writing. I will give Ernest Hemingway another try for sure. He's one of the great American authors, so definitely I will try again. It's a collection of short stories from Ernest Hemingway, and that's all I really have to say about it. You can get through it really quick if you're interested in this, or if you're an Ernest Hemingway fan and never read this book or collection of stories. So, there you go. And those are all the books I read over the summer. I can't read 100 books in a year. That's just never going to happen. I have a job. I have, a home, I'm married, a home life. I have to go grocery shopping. I don't know how people read that many books. I'm definitely going to try and increase it a little bit more. I think I did read more last year. I'll try and get back up to that number. I think I was at about 56 books or 60 books last year. I'm not near that. I got to check my Goodreads counter. But I'm not so concerned with reading that many books. I want to enjoy the books I read, not speed read. absorb it more. I find that when I do read books a little bit faster, I'm missing a lot of information. Like, I'm reading it and it's going right through me. So that is not the goal I have for reading. I rather just take my time and enjoy the books that I pick out. So that's it for today. Just a quick video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.